Essential EGL+Batch. In this lesson, we're going to learn about floats. This series is based on EGL Development Tools version 0.8. To get started, we need to create a new package called lab.lesson09. A floating point type is what we're going to deal with today. Last time we dealt with integers, which is a whole number, but a floating point actually has a number and then some things after the decimal place, some additional digits. And floating point means it can represent, it has an exponent, so it can represent numbers that are very, very big. We'll create a library called FloatLib, and we'll start a function called demo, and I'll do the usual of creating another function which is private, and also inside that function do the usual of calling a batch lib from lesson 6 with a start function and end function. I want to demonstrate here with a right click and EGL source organize imports what happens when there's more than one thing that's called batch lib. Just as a reminder, we did this before, but there it is again. Now let's get started on floats. We want to create an expression of 4.8 plus 3.2 times 2.5. Now notice when I do a dot inside of a quotations, even though I'm editing a string, the contents assist wants to pop up. Let me do that again. When it pops up unexpectedly, just hit the escape key to make it go away. Oh, okay, so let's also do an absolute value. So we'll use a value of negative 2.1, and its absolute value should be a positive 2.1. Well, there's a MathLib, a math library that's built into EGL, and we'll select the absolute value function. I have to go back and change from the int type to the float type because we're dealing with floating point numbers in this lesson. So I'm going to have two values that are float, and I'm going to use MathLib again to get the max. I'll type in an m to get to the max function, and we'll find out the max of value 3 or value 4, and I'll put that on the console. And then I'll take the MathLib again and look for the min function, which takes the minimum of 2 values, and print that out to the console. And then let's also look at round. So I'll put in a value of 23.45 and see the result when it's rounded to the nearest 2 decimal places. So use the round function, and 2 decimal places is a negative 2. That looks pretty good. I think we got that right. Also want to do a format of float. We'll create another function and show you the different format patterns. In this case, I'm going to paste in the text of format float. And we're going to use a constant value of 123.456789 and take a look at these patterns. The pound sign or hash mark is a space filled value. The ampersand is a zero filled value, and the decimal point in a pattern aligns with the decimal point in a floating point number. With so many decimal places, You can actually have additional decimal places that are zero filled. Or the other way is you can have zero filled preceding zeros. If you use literals, like an asterisk in a format string, it'll print out the literal. And if you use a literal that's between two hash marks, like this, if there's no digits to print, it won't print the literal. And then at the end, I can also use a literal space and a literal USD for US dollars or other symbols. Now to go with this floating point library at demo, let's create a program. So we're going to do right-click New Program, and it'll be the usual lesson 9 and the usual call to start program, end program, and then let's take it for a test drive. So let's take a look at the console and see what we have. So for lesson 9, it does the math, and 4.8 plus 3.2 plus, times 2.5 is 20. Absolute value is done. The max, the min, the round. Now with rounding of -2, we're talking about rounding to the second decimal place. Let's put in some additional numbers in decimal place, such as a 6, as in 6, 7, and run this again. And isn't that amazing? It generates, compiles, and displays the output in a blink of an eye. Round function has rounded it up to 0.46. Let's try another number. Let's try 49. We'll do actually 0.454 and see what happens. Run it again. Been another lesson in Essential EGL Batch. Thanks for watching.